Hey everybody, so today I'll be starting my indoor gardening, or at least mason jar garden, and I have been looking forward to doing this for a very long time. It took me a minute to get the materials, but I'm finally here and I'm looking forward to the process. Now, with that being said, I had to learn a lot about how to create an appropriate drainage system so I don't overwater my soil. But not just that, I want to have a nice look to my garden. I want to have some aesthetics to it and something I can look forward to looking at and being with as I am growing my herbs. Now, the herbs that I have will not just be stuff that I use in my kitchen for cooking, but also for medicinal uses as well, especially when I have my teas. For those that don't know, I drink a lot of tea. So with that being said, this is a start to, or a prerequisite to starting my indoor gardening that I would like to have in the future. But I wanted to start small and I wanted to see how everything turned out with this. And then when the time comes, I will step up my game. But with that, as you can see, I have my mason jars, I have my potting mix and my stones and pebbles. I also got me some pellets and some sand. Most of the stuff that I'll be using won't be just for drainage, but also for aesthetics. But with that, I do have my tags and I have everything already written out. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how this turns out. And if you all want to come along with me on this journey and see how everything comes out, definitely tag along. But with that, let's get started. So before I begin the process, what I would like to do is I would like to pre-soak my pellets. I will be using these in the mason jars. I don't usually see people do it this way, but I'm gonna try it this way. This is where I feel more comfortable with, because if something goes wrong with my mason jars, I don't want to pull all the dirt out and start all over. I like to just pull the whole pellet bag out and then just restart it if anything happens. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out. And I'm gonna just pull 8 of these out. As you can see, I will be using these to start the process of my seeds, along with the potting mix that I'll be using. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Before I even use these, I'm gonna pour a little bit of pour and feed into my water. I want my pellets to have a food source for a minute. I'm not gonna do the same thing with my potting mix, because the potting mix actually already has stuff in there. So I'm just gonna pour like a capful in there. That's all. I'm not gonna do too much. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and begin putting these in there. So I'm gonna let them soak for a minute, and as they are doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get my mason jars prepped with everything that I do have. So with that, let me go ahead to the next step. So as you all can see, I have all my mason jars all laid out and ready to go. I took the rings and lids off and ready to start pouring my material in. Now the first thing that I'll be using is something called soil cover. This is white sand. It is for interior house plants use. I purchased this from Home Depot, I believe for about good $3 or $4 or $5. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this would be something I'm going to pour as my base into my mason jars. Now this won't be just for drainage purposes, but also for aesthetics. I have not seen anybody use this in their mason jar work, but I'm going to try it because this is also experimentation for me and see how things work out. But with that, let me go ahead and start pouring this into the mason jars. So with that, I have my first layer of material in there, which is the white sand. It is serving as the base, and I like to do is start pouring in my second layer of material, which is this black rocks or crushed rocks that I purchased from Michael's. I got these for $1 at Michael's on clearance. I believe they're part of the Halloween sale or clearance. And I couldn't find any more of these, and I was a little upset, but I was like, you know what? At least you got your hand on something you've been looking for. I already washed these and put these and let these set out to dry, because you know when it comes to craft stores, they tend to put a dye on everything. And I saw that when I washed these, nothing was coming off. These are real rocks. So what I like to do is I like to start pouring these into the mason jars now. As you can see, I have my second layer of material in there, and I'm thinking it's looking pretty nice. I'm going to start adding in my third layer, which is some river pebbles that I got from Home Depot for about a good $5. Maybe a little cheaper, I believe, about $4 something. But with that being said, I'm going to add this as a third layer. It's going to serve as not only just the drainage, but also as part of the aesthetics as well. And I'm going to go ahead and open this. And I might do this by handfuls, or I might just measure these. I think I'm going to measure these and go by what I see, because everything else was pretty much pre-measured. So let me go ahead and start this next layer. So I have my third layer of material now, which is the river pebbles, and I want to give you all a closer shot. As you can see, I have my sand, I have my mini rocks, and the pebbles. I try to tap it to even it out as possible, but I'm liking how it's looking so far. I'm ready to start pouring in my fourth layer of material, which is going to be the potting soil mix. I got this from Home Depot for about between $5 or $6. I believe it's on sale, but I ended up getting it, and I got it intentionally to have it with pearl light. So you can see it has pearl light, and I wanted to have some space or oxygen or air for my roots or my plants. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to pre-moisten this so I can prep and have my soil ready, because I really don't want too much liquid going to the bottom yet, at least not right now. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and pre-moisten my soil a little bit. I'm not going to do too much, but I'm just going to do enough so when I start pouring it in here, I don't have to worry about having to water it too much. So let me go ahead and do that now. So I'm putting out my pot, or a little mini pot I have, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is just pour some of the dirt in here. I'm probably going to go midway. Let me just go ahead and pour this in here. Pour this in here a little bit. I just want to moisten it so when I start pouring it in, I can be ready. So I have my dirt in here, and from what I'm feeling, it looks like it's already moist a little bit, but I'm going to use some of this liquid that I use to start my pellets. And the pellets are just about done. And you already, if you remember, I poured some of my pouring feed in there. So I really didn't want to use this in here, but I don't want to waste water. And you know, let me go ahead and pour a little bit. That's all. That's enough. I just want to moisten my dirt, so when I begin putting it in there, it'll be good. I'm going to use my hands, and I just want to get this nice and damp. I don't really want it wet. I just want it damp. That's all. And it's just about getting there. I'm going to add a little bit more in here. That's just pretty much it. So it's damp. It's not wet. It's damp. So I'm getting dirt everywhere, but it's fine, because that's what happens when you play in dirt. It gets everywhere. But that's just about it. I don't want to do too much, just enough so when I begin to pour it in there, that the pellets have some form of support, and that when I begin to actually start watering these, that the soil will absorb the moisture or water easily, with ease. So let me go ahead and begin pouring these into the jars. Now I'm done dampening my soil. It is ready to go, but before I begin, I want to add something else to my soil to help my plants to grow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some eggshell powder. Now I had some leftover eggs for months and what I did was I boiled them, I let them dry in the oven, and then I grinded them up in the coffee grinder. And so now I have me some powder. Now they're not completely powder right now because I wasn't too much with the process, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this into my soil as a way of adding calcium to my plants, so when they grow they have strong cell walls. And I'm not going to add too much, just enough to add nutrients. Now you can add other things into it. I had an idea of grinding some banana peels and adding it to my soil, which I do have banana peels that I dehydrated, but I'm just going to add this for now just as an added bonus. I'm just simply going to turn this in here. It's in here. I'm going to add it in here, you know. So yeah, so I got my dirt, it's ready. I didn't put too much eggshell or in my soil, but that's just about it. And I'm ready to go to add my fourth layer. So as you can see, I made a big mess, but I'm fine, and I got a lot of the dirt in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour more dirt in there because I feel like I didn't have enough, but still it's coming along very well. I'm patting some of it down and I'm prepping it, so when I begin to put the pellets in here, I'm going to go ahead and be able to put them in here. So what I'm going to do here is just I'm going to go ahead and fill up some more, and then I'm going to get the pellets ready. So I have my jars ready. I got the fourth layer of material in there and I'm ready to go. I filled these up as much as I could. And I pressed some of the dirt down. I don't want to do too much, but I just want to press it down enough so when I go ahead and put my pellets in there, I can cover the dirt over it and then just let it sit. So what I have here is my pellets. They've been sitting in the water this whole entire time. As you can see, they got real big, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to dig into it with my tool, and I'm going to insert my seeds in here. Now I do have my seeds over here, and I'll just show you all what I got. Now I have some seeds that I purchased online and from the store, and I got me some spearmint, some lavender, some rosemary, some basil, sweet basil. I also got me some mugwort, and this is medicinal mugwort because there are different types of mugwort. And then I also have my lemon balm. I also have Tabasco peppers because I want to make me some Tabasco sauce. And I got me some catnip. And for those who don't know, I do own a cat, but I want to try this also for myself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and put the lids back on these mason jars. I have the lids here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently put it on here and just simply place this on here so I can go ahead and put my seeds in each one, and I'll know which one is which. So let me go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and place the lids back on here, and this is more so I can organize myself. So I got all of my seeds in these pots, and what I'm ready to do is I'm gonna go ahead and stick them into the mason jar. So I've done putting my pots into the mason jars, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cover the top with a little dirt. I'm not going to do too much, but I'm going to just cover it up with a little dirt. Even though we got everything filled, I still have these labels. Yes, I still have these labels that I need to put on these mason jars. So what I got here is, I got me some string, and I'm just simply, for right now, because I want to make it fancy a little bit, but later I'm going to do that. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and tie the names or appropriate names up to the mason jars, so I know what is what. So I am done, and as you can see, I added all of the tags, and I also added the lids without the caps on top, but this is more so for decorative purposes because I might actually take these off. But what I do know is that I'm done and everything is in order in place. And if I feel as though that these ain't growing right, I can always take out the pot and just do it all over again or try something else. But what I do know is I'm looking forward to seeing how this works out. With all that being said, once these start blooming, I'm going to also use a grow light to help these flowers bloom, so that they'll have at least a chance to actually get up and going. Because I know in the past when I've tried to grow stuff from seeds, they'll start and then they'll just die out, and I think it's because they didn't have the support, the type of lighting. A friend gave this to me. They have their own YouTube channel, and I will link their channel in the description below. But with that being said, I am actually looking forward to seeing how these turn out. I would like in the future to be able to have these hang around my window sills, so I could just look at them when I come in the kitchen. If not, I'll just put them on the windowsill itself, but I like to have them hanging by the window or at the window. So with that, I'm happy with what I have, and if y'all have any questions, definitely ask. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because I might change things in the future. As you can see, in the future I might actually add more pebbles, so it'll be more up here. But with that being said, I'm actually quite excited for this, and I'm happy with this. I would like in the future to have added more of the black the rocks, but I'm okay with it. It's all fine and okay, and I'm just excited to see how this turns out. I feel as though as long as they have some breathing room down here, that they'll be able to do just as fine. It almost gives me a sense of like the earth. You know how you look at the earth from sideways and you see the natural sediments? That's what that gives me a hint or a clue of. So I do have my lavender, spearmint, rosemary, basil, mugwort, lemon balm, Tabasco peppers, and catnip. I'm looking to see how these turn out, and if y'all want me to give or do an update on how these are going, I definitely can do that. So with that, definitely take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you all another day. Bye.